Oh, finally. He's back. Lekker erg hier. Rugby. Fine, I'll wade into the muck. Let's have a look at the domestic results. And no, not just because the Lions won. Again. I stayed up to watch Munster take on the Scarlets for the same reason that every other South African did. Erg's return. I did not expect to keep watching for a bonkers 91-point game. The score was 35-7 for Munster after just 42 minutes. It ended 49-42 after the Tongan Scarlets had enough and nearly made one of the best comebacks ever. Fafita, Lausi and Kalamafoni were insane in that second half. Glasgow hosted Zebre in another high-scoring match on Friday night. This one also had a gigantic South African lock playing in it, though he wasn't making a long-awaited return from injury. It also had a team scoring a half-century of points, just like in the first match. The big difference is that the opposition did not have a bunch of Tongans to help with a massive second-half comeback. No siree Bob. Glasgow are back on the horse after the Joburg hiccup and are looking pretty good in 4th place. Saturday started with a South African derby game, this time in Cape Town. And like the week before in Pretoria, the crowd was massive. I think us Saffers are starting to get the hang of this whole summer rugby thing. At least some of us are. Anyway, the Stormers got the win over the Sharks without much fuss, and that gave them the grand slam over all the South African sides, making them the Shield champions for the 2nd year running. For their effort, they get to travel to Dublin in a few weeks' time to take on the Six Nations champions. What fun! At the other end of the country, a slightly smaller but still pretty big crowd was treated to a slightly closer but still pretty important derby match. For some reason, the Lions decided to end their drought against other SA sides in this game. A game that helped the likes of Munster and Ulster the most, and screwed the Sharks and the Bulls the most. Sorry. Shout out to Frankie Horn of the Lions. 2 games back from injury and 2 wins on the trot. Coincidence? Edinburgh, I think I was wrong about you. The sweet threads and the fun wingers tricked me. Hosting Leinster and losing is kinda normal, but sitting below the Lions on the table, that is criminal. Leinster is Leinster. Bloody incredible at rugby when Johnny is activated. Good to pretty damn good when Harry Byrne is let out from under the staircase. The Irish Giants are also now confirmed Shield winners, and let's see if they can finally live up to their talent and make it out of the URC semi-finals. Finally. Poor Ospreys, from the highs of beating Montpellier twice in recent times to losing to a very depleted Benetton side at home. Granted, the Ospreys are also missing a bunch of their international players, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. From now on, and until significant reform happens, the blame for any and all losses that Welsh teams suffer will be placed squarely at the feet of the WRU. Ulster travelled to Cardiff and they seem to have reversed the poor form they were in before the Six Nations. With Dwayne playing well and players like Henderson and McCloskey set to come back, expect these guys to be fighting for the title at the sharp end of the season. Cardiff lost again, and it's all the WRU's fault. You only need to read Willis Alaolo's Twitter to realise how bad things are over there in Wales. Finally, Connacht are making a big push for a top 8 and Heineken Cup place at the end of the season. And with their running of games, they might be the biggest benefactors of the Lions' sudden late season competence. The Dragons lost again. They haven't tasted victory since round 7 by my count. Poor buggers. I blame the WRU for squandering a budget as big as the IRFU's. And that's where the URC stands right now. In the way of me enjoying the Six Nations. Bye till the end of March, when I might find it in my heart to love you again. Is this news? I've been told that there are other domestic leagues happening at the same time as the URC. Apparently the English Premiership is chugging along nicely, with 5 rounds left, Saracens at the top, Sale in second, then a gap, and then 7 teams within 7 points of each other. Sounds pretty good. Also, Super Rugby Pacific had its second round this weekend, and it was a disaster for the kids. As with most bad things, Dane Coles started it. He got his own captain sent off for starting a punch-up where collars were grabbed, bodies were flung, and Ardy made the gesture. Mr. Savia was sent off, and he apologized just after the match and in the press conference later. He's also been cited, and multiple reams of tweets and columns have been written about him. The grub walked away free and clear. He better be carrying Ardy's bags this whole week. And that was this week's rugby update. I will see you all next week when we'll be basking in the glow of Six Nations rugby again and an Italian victory. Ciao.